Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best, recent, cutting edge, most important, most useful, and most effective brain body tools so you could take better control of this most sophisticated machine in the entire universe between your ears, your brain, make better decisions, take more powerful actions, and design the exact life experience you desire. Today, folks, and probably for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to talk more about different routines and habits and how to stick with our best intentions for the next year ahead. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of research-based practices and tactics and hacks, but also it's going to be a really good way for me to repeat this and to relearn and to bring up all the research and information to get better at that myself. Because repetition is the mother of all skills, and we need to refresh our knowledge and our skills in order to maintain a great baseline or even grow or even develop, right? We need to bring up the knowledge, bring up the skills and refresh them constantly. And then also it's an opportunity for me to do more research into different tactics or practices. There might be updates, so different books and research papers. And then also it's a way of me to get better at what I do, at coaching, at helping other people to change, to embrace challenges, to get better, to grow and achieve, if not mastery, then just get better at a lot of things we want to get better at. And the key is always in our brain. That's why this podcast got rebranding as a Your Brains Coach, because what I got to realize, all the things that we desire in life have to do with how we are able to operate our brain by giving it the right signals, by creating the right environment, to evoke the right emotions, and then ultimately to take better actions to shape our life experience better. That was the intro, and today's podcast, as you guessed from the title, is about fitness and exercise and movement and how make it part of your life that never leaves your life. Peter met a really amazing guy in the gym today, and we got to talking, and he looked like he knew what he was doing in the gym on the exercise floor. And there was a moment when we shared that movement is like part of our lives. It's like breakfast. You just do it every day, and if you don't, it just doesn't feel right. And so I want to get you to the same point, because based on the best research, all of the information and data, exercise and movement is the best thing you can do for yourself. It improves absolutely all aspects of your health, of your mental and emotional well-being, of your energy systems. It prevents all of the diseases and makes everything else work better in your life. Even your decision making gets better with exercise, because guess what? With exercise, your brain gets more oxygen, more blood, more nutrients. It gets also more stimulation. Movement actually is a way to teach your brain to engage different neural circuits. Your brain uses neural circuits for movement, but then also it uses the same neural circuits for thinking, decision making, etc. And the more robust and complex and well working and fast they are, the better your thinking is, the better you process information, the better you learn, and the better decisions you make. And that obviously affects everything else in your life. So movement, how do we make it a part of your life? Well, first of all, it's a mindset shift. Forget about exercising for burning calories or weight loss or whichever there is a goal. No, make movement a part of your life, not a part of a goal, but realize that movement in all its different forms, it's a part of being human. it's nutrition, just different kind of, not in food, but in the movement patterns. And so when I started treating exercise like that, instead of when I was a teen trying to lose weight or look a certain way or achieve certain athletic indicators, I used to be in athletics as well. When I eliminated that pressure from myself and from movement and from exercise, I started showing up every single day, because all of a sudden it became this enjoyable activity that I do to explore myself, to explore my body, to explore who I am and how I can interact with life, and also how I can play and how in different ways I can use my body. And also I allowed myself to do what feels the best on any day. Sometimes I also shared this on Instagram. You wake up and you feel like a lot of energy, and you feel like exercising, and you feel like doing all the exercises and hitting it hard. And sometimes you wake up, like today I woke up and didn't feel like much. I went to the gym. I was on the gym floor and I was doing squats, and I'm like, man, it's hard today. I'm barely getting it off the ground. Heavy lift off today. And you know what? That's okay. Then I decided, okay, I'm just going to scale it down, do a few sets here and there, and move through all the exercises that I haven't done in a while to just improve my flexibility and mobility and explore my range of movement. And I did just that. And by the end of it, I actually got into the mood of making it more harder and challenging on myself. So the point is, change the mindset first and stop counting calories. Now, when I work with clients and they give me calorie count for their exercise, I'm even like surprised. I'm like, why we count calories with your exercise? Exercise is not, well, it helps to utilize more energy, and it helps with energy metabolism and blood glucose metabolism, etc., etc., etc. It improves energy and it improves weight maintenance and weight loss. But if you do exercise for that purpose, you're gonna hit the plateau very, very soon, because sometimes you're gonna burn calories or lose weight, or your physique gonna improve, and then sometimes for a couple of weeks it won't do much. And if you take a break for those couple of weeks, guess what? You for sure are not gonna be getting any progress, but also you lose the joy of movement. It's gonna be like this drag, or like some job that you took on part-time where you have to burn a certain amount of calories, so you have to lose. I think like all these shows about weight loss, when they made them, eat very little and exercise a lot, burn a certain amount of calories, I think a lot of, most of the participants regained weight really fast. One of the reasons was because they started treating exercise in their mind. Exercise became the thing that they had to do to hit certain numbers. And at that point, when there is something that you feel like you hate and you have to do, as soon as the pressure is off, the cameras are off, and you have no one's watching you behind your back or, whatever, then you just get into your old habits. The second point from here is you want to start feeling joy, or teaching yourself to feel joy from your exercise, from your physical activity. And the way to do it is from the book of Hidden Potential, newer book, the newest book by Adam Grant, Hidden Potential, the science of achieving greater things. So in the book, he talks about how to get through the grind and how to be consistent with doing hard things. And exercise, working out, it is hard. It's harder than doing nothing, for sure. That's why most of the world does not exercise on a regular basis, obviously. So in the book, he, from the experience of even elite performers, all of them report that how they stuck with it is sometimes, yes, they would do the reps, they would do the work as, they're supposed to do it. But more often than not, they would have to mix it up with play. Like, okay, I have never tried this way or that way. That's why when it comes to exercise and movement, I always tell people, give yourself many, many options that you can explore movement form in many different forms. Like, for example, for myself, yes, I go to the gym often, but I also allow myself to use different machines and not always hitting, the reps and the weight, but exploring, if I move it at that angle, what's going to happen? If I move it at this angle, what's going to happen? If I do 20, 30 reps, light reps, or if I do super heavy reps, like 4 or 5 with heavy weight. And then sometimes I would just look at the Instagram accounts of all the people I follow, like entrepreneurs, different leaders, and see what they do for exercise. I'm like, I haven't tried that one. Let me try what it feels like. And then on some days, I'm like, I feel like dancing, or I feel like yoga, or I feel like taking a class somewhere that I haven't tried before, or I'm feeling like taking Bikram yoga and sweating it all out. There is always something that I'm curious about, because I also watch, people do different stuff, and because I allow myself to be playful and to not stick with the routine all the time. Like most of us, we are not some professional athletes, and we move to feel, look, and better and be healthier. And so if that is the goal, introducing play is a really good thing that will help you to stick with movement for life. So also you can schedule fitness activities with your friends. Like here in Cape Town, they do this, I'm yet to try it, but they have squash that a lot of people do together. They have padel. I think that's the name of it. It's kind of like tennis, but kind of not. Look it up. I am still yet to explore it. Then people go do cold plunges together, hike in the mountains, and it becomes like this whole social fun. The point here is, don't treat your movement like a job you hate. Treat it like a play, like exploration. Get curious. And guess what? When you're curious, your dopamine starts flowing, and all of a sudden you want to do it. And it's a completely different feeling. And when you start feeling like it's fun and you want to do it, and I'm going to share a few other really good strategies to make sure you are consistent. But when you introduce that play, that fun, instead of feeling again like it's a job you hate, or an activity that you hate but you have to do, that's when it clicks, the shift happens, and you'll never have to worry about getting off the exercise wagon ever again. There will be no wagon. Movement becomes part of who you are, like having breakfast. It's, eating is part of being human. So movement is as well. You don't die of it as fast as from, for example, not eating and forgetting to do so. Even though, eating the wrong stuff, as our experience of society shows us, can be very detrimental to our physical well-being, mental well-being, the years we live, and how we get to experience this life. So making it fun, making yourself feel good, giving yourself variety of option, not having to stick with the same routine, especially again, most of us are not professional athletes. So why do you feel like you have to stick with one exercise or one routine? And now let's get to more practical and tangible strategies that help a lot of my clients. Most of my clients use the combination of these strategies to make sure that in their busy life, most of my clients are entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, leaders, very driven people, and have a lot of things they're tackling and taking on. So their schedule is already packed, and to make sure that they don't miss their exercise, these are the things that we always make sure that they are in place in some form or the other. So first of all, your commitment. Make movement a daily thing, a daily practice, kind of like breakfast. So first, mindset shift, make it fun. Forget about making it hard and treating it like the job you hate, right? So find joy, explore, get curious, find entrepreneurs, leaders, so whoever it is you admire, and see what they do for exercise. Or maybe ask them to create social media posts about that, and then explore that. For me, that's always like when I lose like fun part of exercise, I always look, okay, what Tim Ferriss does, or what Alex Hormozy posted about exercise, and I'm like, oh, let me try that as well. So that's make it fun, treat it like a part of your life. Then to practical stuff, schedule it. Put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar and treat it like you're meeting. It's not movable. And treat it again like what else helps really well my clients is on Sunday. Usually, actually, when I work with someone on the day that we have coaching, we get through every day of the upcoming week, and I ask them, okay, what is planned for exercise on this day, on that day, on this day? And then also make sure that they have their exercise in their calendar. I literally ask them, when are you going to do that? What are you going to do? This is actually a technique that I got from the book, How to Change by Katie Milkman. And creating those recipes or pathways of rehearsals, mental rehearsals of how you're going to do things, when you're going to do things, where you're going to do things, helps people across the board to follow through, because you're kind of like building a neural pathway by creating this recipe, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, what you're going to do. And when the time comes and you committed to it, and especially if you put it in your calendar and there are also reminders, then you are so much more likely to follow through. They even did it. They used it for increasing voting for people. So they called people up who signed up to vote, and they asked them exactly that: when, where, how you're going to vote. They ask them to talk it out aloud. And when, how, and when and how you're going to do that. And when the people told them, the rate of show up for voting actually increased by quite a lot. So put it in your calendar, treat it like you're meeting, and just rehearse. Okay, on this day, I'm going to do that. On Sunday, let's say you sit down, like on Monday, I'm going to do this. On Tuesday, I'm going to do my cardio workout at, with this person or with in this club. On Wednesday, I'm going to do yoga at home. On Thursday, I'm going to do a run or a hike. So rehearse it a week in advance and put it in your calendar. Then we already talked about creating a lot of options. So make sure to have options for the days when you feel great, when you feel not that great, when you have a lot of time, when you barely have any time. So make sure that you have those options. You can have an app that you use to work out at home that requires no equipment whatsoever, and you can do it in your underwear. You can have a gym option. You can have some classes. You can have a run outside or a cycling option. Create as many options as possible. Purchase some equipment like some resistant bands, some weight for your house. Create, like, even if it's a corner and you don't have a lot of space, but create that place where you do exercise when you are at home, for example. So create as many options as possible. So there is always something you can do. And by the way, you can always tune into YouTube and find some 10-minute whole body, no equipment workout, and just do that. And if that's your workout for today, guess what? That is a hell of a lot better than nothing. So create a lot of options. And with my clients, that's what I do. I'm like, okay, what are the options when you're at home? What are the options when you're at hotel? What are the options when you are in some Airbnb and you have no gym and no equipment and everything is kind of far? What are all the options? And then we walk through them and make sure that the person I'm working with has everything they need to succeed. The next one, definitely one of the most important ones, is make it convenient. Make sure that your exercise is convenient in your life. Don't sign up for some fancy gym that is far away and it's going to take you 30 minutes to get there. Guess what? 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, like it's a whole hour. Plus, you probably have to do some preparations for that. So you spend more than an hour on just getting there. And if you're getting busier and busier and busier, that thing will feel like a lot to handle. That hour, it's going to feel like a whole lot waste of time. So make sure that it's convenient. If you don't have any gyms near your house, then have some resistance bands. I have some weights that you can adjust, like adjustable dumbbells. Download some apps, like Less Meals is one of my favorite apps for working out. They have a variety of options, from cardio to body weight training to training with weights, all kinds of different weights, to yoga, to whatever you can imagine, to dancing for a lot of space, for not a lot of space. So make sure that it's convenient and you have all of these options. It really, really matters for consistency. And especially, again, if you maybe became a parent, if you started a new business, you started a new job, and you get more and more responsibilities, and your head feels like it's about to blow up, those things will definitely make a difference. So make it convenient, create a lot of options. The next one, we kind of already touched on that. Learn how to scale it down. Not every day at all. Like today, I woke up, I didn't feel like doing much exercise. I'm like, feels not great. I felt like I'd rather stay at home and don't do much. But I knew that if I did that, my whole day will be so much less active and powerless and not as motivated, not as inspired. My brain is not going to be as creative. And so no, I actually want to do exercise, but I felt like I needed to scale it down. And I did. And at the end, I felt like doing a lot more. So scale it down, and especially important to lower the bar for entry. What does it mean? It also actually goes for anything you tend to procrastinate on. Make the first step as easy as possible. So with some clients, I'm working on introducing more walks after dinner into their lifestyle for many different purposes. And for them, it's like, do I really have to do that? Because in their mind, it means like they have to spend there like half an hour. And so what we do is, for next week, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to have 5-minute walk after dinner. Just literally get out there and almost like get back in. Scale it down. And guess what? On most occasions, my clients go out for this 5-minute walk and spend their 15, 20, 30 minutes. Why? Because once you get moving, you tend to keep moving. There is this law of physics. An object in motion stays in motion. And then if the object is still, it stays still. So make this first step as easy as possible. Lower the bar. So for the exercise, it might be just promise yourself to do 5 minutes of exercise. And if you don't feel like it, then don't continue. So learn how to scale it down and still show up. Walk away from being an all or nothing person, black and white person. There is a lot of gray in between, folks. But from not doing anything at all and having the hottest, most audacious, all out workout, there is a lot of space in between, and even a little bit, what research shows more and more and more, even exercise snacks, like 3 minutes here and there 3 times a day, works magic when it comes to health outcomes. When you do it consistently, obviously, but to do it consistently, learning how to scale it down depending on how you feel, especially if you're interested in maintaining exercise as a practice for life, that's a golden skill, golden nugget. Again, I didn't have that much of really good consistency, and it felt sometimes really like a hard job that I had to do until I learned how to scale it down. And and then I started getting more and more results, because consistency over time compounds a lot more than intensity some of the times. So learn to scale it down and lower the first step. Start with 5 minutes and allow yourself to just do 5 minutes on some days. So starting small, scaling it down. The next one is track it. Especially if you are in the beginning, get some app like Habit Share app where you create a habit like a daily exercise and you put a check mark, and then after a while you see like so many check marks, like it's like a whole chain of check marks that you've been showing up, and then your brain starts feeling, well, I showed up for that many days, might as well continue, I don't want to break the chain, right? This sunk cost fallacy that our brain goes through, or basically our brain doesn't like to lose. So if you've been putting in consistent actions and you've been tracking it and you have a track record, your brain doesn't want to lose it and doesn't want to waste time and effort, and you get much less likely to quit that activity. Even better if you track it visually, like get a calendar or draw your own calendar or just put a poster, and every day you do an exercise, you put an X or a check mark, and then see the chain grow and grow and grow. And can you imagine at the end of the year having 365 of those check marks? Can you imagine what a freaking accomplishment it would be, and how you going to be a different person? So track it. It also works on your dopamine system, the ones that keeps you motivated. So track it in whichever way. And last but definitely not least, especially at the beginning, that's a huge one. If you can make it social, if you can create accountability with another person, it doesn't have to be an exercise person. It can be your mom or your friend or your spouse or even your kids. But just tell them, remind me each day, keep me accountable. Make sure that like mom or dad exercises, or make sure that like whoever you're talking to, right? Make sure that I exercise. Just remind me every day. And the person can set up reminders to send you a message or give you a short call. And then you see it and you're like, yeah, they will ask me, I don't want to look bad. So that social accountability is huge for human beings, guys. So if you can create this accountability, and most of us can, either online, there are also many, many groups, sipping on some water, create that accountability. If you can join a class, if it's convenient for you, convenience comes first before the accountability. But if you can make it also social, that is such a huge booster, guys. If you can create a group of people with who you exercise, or join that group of people, and it becomes more like seeing your friends, guess what? Your brain is also going to be driven by that, because social connections and relationships are the biggest motivator for your brain. There is so much more we will do actually to show up for other people than we'll even do for ourselves. Social life and connections are one of the biggest motivators. So if you can create a social fitness experience, maybe not every day, maybe a few times per week, or accountability plus the accountability with people who care about you, that's going to be like a super fuel for your exercise routine this year. Maybe even create sort of accountability group with one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, and create this goal to show up for exercise every single day. And by every single day, I mean every single day. Sometimes people ask me, well, don't you take days off? Well, I make my days off on the go as well. Sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's a hike, sometimes it's going to play tennis or squash or anything really active. So make movement a part of your life. And we kind of came full circle, because at the end of the day, I do believe that first it's the mindset. Understand that you need movement. It's like food, you need it. It's just from some things, when you don't get it, you die sooner. From some things, the negative effects come slower, like from the lack of exercise. You will start actually experiencing negative effects almost immediately, but not to the point where you're gonna die. The point here is change your mindset first and realize that movement is going to expand you. It's going to expand your life. It's going to amplify and improve and make everything else feel better. They say like there is runner's high, but actually everyone who exercises consistently gets hooked on the exercise brain chemicals. There's this beautiful chemistry happening here. Dopamine, your endorphins, your serotonin and adrenaline, and this like beautiful cocktail of neurochemistry makes you feel so much better for the rest of the day. It makes you feel powerful and confident and strong and capable, and also joyful and cheerful and inspired. That all exercise does for you every single day. So instead of looking for the next nootropics, just use these strategies, make movement a part of your life. Take it in the morning because guess what? You probably want to feel better right from the start. I always recommend my clients to make the time for the exercise in the morning, not just to feel better, but to also make sure that they do it because morning is when usually we have the most control of our day. And that's it for today, guys. I hope that these tips and tools you found very useful. And if exercise hasn't worked for you till this point, then look into the strategies. These are the strategies that people who stuck with exercise for life use. And these strategies are also based on research. Pick up the book Atomic Habits, Tiny Habits, How to Change the Power of Habit. All of this research and studies at the core have a combination of all of these different strategies, and they talk about the same things because we human beings form habits pretty much the same way. Make it easy, put it in your schedule, have reminders, have accountability, make it joy, make it playful, a lot of things. So re-listen to this episode, put the strategies in place, the more the better. If you need more support, more personalized support, if you need a coach, please reach out to me, Angela at brainbreakthroughcoach.com, the coach for your best self. I'm a multidisciplinary coach, nutrition, fitness, recovery, sleep, productivity, focus, preventing burnout, and a couple of other things. So reach out if you need a more personalized attention. Don't forget to share this podcast as well, because the more people exercise, the better the world will create, because we all feel better and do better. So please do share, rate, review, start moving, and I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening.